Could I have your attention? Try it again. Good afternoon. I'd like to have your attention. We're going to call this meeting to order. I'm going to ask Representative Kennard if he will open us in prayer. What number are you?
17.
Okay.
God, we thank you for the privilege and honor of another day filled with fresh mercy and hope. We are just privileged today to serve you, serve the great people of Georgia. Let us tap into a wisdom that's greater than ourselves. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. We have one bill on the, actually two, but one has been pulled. Senate Bill 138. We're going to hear that another day, so we pull that. But Senate Bill 149 came through this committee last week, and anyway, it got sent back from Rules, and there's been some changes made to the bill, and I'm going to ask Whip Kelly if he'll come up and explain the bill. He and Representative Montahan.
I'll be quick, Mr. Chairman, and I'll let him get to the heart of the bill. There are a couple measures that are things that we wanted to move in the House, so we added them on to what I think is a good bill that came over from the senator. So section 1 is a series of
Could you go to the podium, please?
Section 2 encompasses what was the senator's original bill. Sections 5 through 10 deal with digital license plates that this committee has heard about, and I know that there may be a friendly amendment or two that are offered. I'll be glad to support those. And then sections 11 and 12 are House Bill 463, which are Representative Montahan's bill dealing with the larger kind of ATVs is what I think of them. And then House Bill 171 is in section 13, which speaks to Chairman Barr's bill that deals with mounting devices on a windshield. And I'll be glad to answer any questions. I'm largely most versed in House Bill 399, section 5 through 10. I'll be glad to answer any questions about that. We have a pretty important vote going on in energy right now about rural broadband and making sure that that we move Senate Bill 2, and so I was going to get back to that just as soon as this committee's done with me.
Okay.
But I wanted to explain that.
If you could do sections 5 through 10, and then we will.
Sections 5 through 10 are a digital license plate bill that was formerly known as House Bill 399. Working with the chairman and listening to some concerns through DOR, we wanted to give them some flexibility and time to come up with rules and regs specifically to address their drives system that they're implementing. I think on page 8 is where you'll see where we change back some effective dates. I do think there will be what I consider a friendly amendment from the auto dealers, and I'd ask this committee to support that about when the rules and regs become effective, and when it comes onto the law, and then when the rules and regs are impacted, and I'll let them speak to that. But it'll just be making things consistent to give them some time from when it becomes legal and the rules and regs to move forward. But I'll be glad to answer any questions about that. We had a pretty robust conversation in this committee about House Bill 399 earlier in the session, and we needed just a little more time to perfect it, and I think that we've worked together to do that and address some concerns of DOR.
Okay. Did we have anybody sign up to speak to that part of the bill? Well, now would be the time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I'm Ben Jordan from the Georgia Automobile Dealers Association, here to speak on the digital license plate bill that's being added into the underlying bill. In the draft that I have right now, it would call for rules and regulations to be promulgated first, proposed rules and regulations to be promulgated first before the act takes effect. And that was by design and at our request, because we believe it will be dealers who are selling at least some and probably a lot of these digital plates. And we expect a lot of new car buyers will be the ones who are actually buying them. So allowing the rules and regulations to come first will give us an opportunity to see exactly how the department plans to implement this, and will allow our dealers and us the ability to comment on that and hopefully work out some of the kinks before these digital plates are actually sold, so that at least the dealer body is ready to work with any customer that wants to buy one when they go buy a new vehicle. So if this committee sees fit to delay any of the effective dates that are currently in the bill, we would ask that the rest of the dates be delayed by the same amount of time to preserve the structure of the original proposal.
Okay, do you have a copy of the bill? Can we look at the line numbers that we're talking about? Are we on
I
page?
think I can speak to those,
On,
Mr.
on
Chairman.
page 8, are we looking, I think,
Lines 232, 238, and 242. I believe what we talked about, and y'all can write this down, and somebody can offer it as an amendment at the time, is that, I guess what you could say is, on line 232, because there's no use them giving us a report in July of 2021, we could just let them do that in January 1st, 2022. So on line 232, strike 2021 and change to 2022. On line 238, strike the word January and insert and replace with the word July. And to be consistent with the points Mr. Jordan raised, on line 242, strike the word April and replace with the word October.
okay, and I think one other, what about on line 314? Do we need to change that as well? Or is that going to affect all parts of the bill?
I believe we'd be supportive of that, Mr. Chairman, because section 9 is the part that, in which we're adjusting the dates, pursuant to, our current discussion. So the rest of the bill would take effect then October 1st of 2020, if we change
On line 314?
on line 314, yes.
Just change that to October.
Yes, sir.
Would that change everything else?
That-
Yeah, so we need to accept the underlying
Oh,
bills
it
need to be
changes.
July 1.
Yeah.
So we can write those in. Upon the governor or July 1. They're usually July 1 if the governor, right?
So you're on July 1, 2020, is that what I'm missing? I mean, I'm just trying to.
No, I think the other sections of the bill needs to be July 1, and that's, and
And our request is only as it pertains to the digital plates portion of the
that,
bill.
right, and I think that's what the amendments will take care of.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think legislative council can give us the proper wording for that. For everything else to be July 1, except sections 5 through 10. Everything else could be July 1 of this year.
And she can insert that on line 314.
Yeah, in that area.
In that
somewhere.
area is the only place
Yeah,
that
sections
wording would
5
be.
through 10 need to follow what were in their code sections. Everything else could be July 1. That works. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We got number 12.
Hey, Mr. Chairman, I guess my only question, I guess, when I heard the word Department of Revenue, so what are they saying, Mr. Whip? Are they, Department of Revenue, are they?
They had some concerns about getting the rules and regs done while they were in the process of implementing their drives, their new drive system. You know, based on the comments that me and the chairman have, that the way to address those is for us just to move back the time when they need to implement the rules and regs.
And I had a conversation with DOR, and they moving the date back, they're agreeable with.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I don't see no other questions. If, well, we've got to hear the rest of the bill.
I think they may want to present the other parts of
Yes,
the
and
bill
then
too.
we'll get somebody to present the amendment.
Yeah.
Number 8, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As I look through this bill, I believe we've seen every one of these subject matters.
We have, except I think, section 13, I think that was probably heard in public safety. And it passed out, and I think we passed it out of the House.
Well, is it
if
not
I'm-
also true that on this 30, what day? How many days are we through? 33?
I think that's correct.
Is it not true that after 33 days, it warms the cockles of my heart to see the Christmas tree in the month of March? And I
Well-
would like to be recognized for motion.
All right, let's explain the other couple sections, and we'll take a motion on the amendment and the bill. Is that,
All right. Thank you,
Ma-
Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the news.
Good job.
all right, Senator Robertson?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just really quickly, you know, I sent this over as a purebred, and I'm not sure what it is now, but
It's a Cadillac.
yeah, some people would call it that. I think Johnny Cash might. But I was approached early on about the digital license plate as a part of this, and I didn't have a lot of problem with the digital license plate other than the fact that a lot of the technology, and they came to me because of my history in public safety and in dealing with enforcement of traffic laws and things of that nature. But we just got mired down in other things and weren't able to get some of the things worked out with DOR at the time. But the towing bill, primarily, part of it is, in the vast majority of the state of Georgia, if somebody's pulled over and their sticker on the tag is expired, then the vehicle gets towed. And what we find in law enforcement, first of all, it pulls a valuable resource of a law enforcement officer off the road waiting for a tow truck, especially in a city like Atlanta or some of the other more urban areas. But then at the same time, what we discovered is we're towing a lot of vehicles from low-income families or one-vehicle families. And after the tow fee, the storage fees, and then the fee to get a tag validated, a sticker back on there, a lot of times these individuals couldn't afford to get their car out of impound. And so there were a lot of auctions. So law enforcement is not a revenue generating enterprise. It's a public safety enterprise. So we felt that this was important, and this is something that's been passed by this body before. And the motives that it was brought before, I have nothing to do with. I don't watch YouTube looking for videos of folks. So, but it's a good piece of legislation. And then I think there was another piece dealing with the three-wheeler that Senator Montmahan and I spoke about, and we agree wholeheartedly on that. That it's a good piece. And then the very last piece on the mountables, we've attached that over in the Senate, and I feel confident that that'll be out of rules. And so, though it is redundant, and though I wish it was not part of this, of my towing bill, I understand the gamesmanship behind it and the politics behind it. Not my cup of tea, but I can appreciate the gentleman's attempts.
All right.
And if anybody has any questions about any of it, then
Are there any questions? Like you've said, we've heard this bill. We've passed all parts of this
Yes, sir.
bill out in separate forms, and they're back in one form. So we've actually heard all of them. Do we have any questions? Number 16.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator, I remember your bill. Where's your bill at in here?
I think it's gonna be section 2, I believe. I gotta get this amended model again. Like I said, it's I've never owned this dog before. Section 2, section 3, and section 4, ma'am. It starts at line 34 and through line 72. And what this does now is if the individual does not have the decal affixed, then they are just given a citation. And when they show up in court with the decal, whenever their court date may be, then they just pay a flat fee and go on their way. So their vehicle's not towed, it's not impounded, and they're not charged any administrative fees through a towing service.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Any other questions?
Mr. Chairman, I will just say this. I know the senator had referred to me as a senator, but I don't accept the demotion.
You might if you go to Senate rules.
I think you just experienced it.
Yeah. All right. Seeing no further questions, I think the posture we're in is to take a motion on the original bill. We had a motion. Do we have a second? Second. Now, I think the posture is to make a motion on the amendment. And Ms. Doley, will you read the amendment and what lines are on?
Looks like on 232, we're changing 2021, 2022. Line 238, January changing to July. On 242, April is changing to October. And then on line 314, April is changing to October. And then on 315, we need to change section 9 to sections 3, 4, 9, 11, 12, 13, and 15 shall become effective on July 1, 2019.
Okay. Do we have a motion on the amendment? We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a motion, a second. Any discussion? Number one? That was Jenna's over there. Okay. I see no discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Bill carries. Thank you. I'm sorry. That was the amendment. That was on the amendment. Now we have to take a motion. Vote on the bill as amended. I'm new to this. We've got a motion on the bill as amended. Second. We've got a second. Now, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Now we have a bill. Thank you, Molly. As committee substitute. Thank you. And we are adjourned.